Hey, this is Greg Close of Tri-by-3 Performance Coaching and the Snapple Elite Triathlon team. I'm out here in beautiful Kailua, Kona, Hawaii, getting ready for the Ironman World Championships, which are on October 9th this year. Over the next 3 weeks while I'm here training and prepping for the race, I'm going to be posting video blogs on my website, tri-by3.com, that answer some of the questions people back at home have about race day nutrition, race day equipment, general preparations for the race, but also things about the Big Island, the islands of Hawaii, and some of the beautiful things to see and do while you're here on the island. If you've got something you'd like to see or hear or know more about, post a comment on the website or send me an email at greg@tri-by3.com, and hopefully I can get some of these questions up online and do some video entries that give you some exciting things to see and look at and learn about the island and the race itself. So one of the first questions that I get is about acclimating to a new place, whether it's up at altitude or it's a big change in the climate like it is here in Hawaii. I came from New York City on the East Coast. It is about 12 hours of travel time to get out here. A long flight from Newark out to Honolulu, and then a short little flight over to Kailua, Kona. We're 6 hours behind the East Coast here. It is about 90 degrees in the middle of the day, mid-70s at night. We get winds 15, 20, 25 miles an hour is standard here, but they kick up to 35, 40, 50 miles an hour. It's not unheard of to get 60-mile-an-hour winds here when you're headed up towards Hawaii, which is the turnaround point on the race course. So people want to know, how do you get used to the time shift, but also how do you acclimate to those conditions? It's a big change from New York City, where we've been in the 70s when I left, and now we're in the 90s here. So I've got 3 rules. Hydrate, live the conditions, and stick to your numbers. Trust the numbers that you've been training at. When I say hydrate, I mean always have a bottle with you, not just water. I use something like Noon, but any sort of electrolyte replacement is great. I try to stay away from things like Gatorade or some of the sugary drinks, but going with anything that's got salt, potassium, magnesium, all those vital electrolytes keep you hydrated. It's going to make sure that your body can acclimate much faster because it's not trying to cool the body down or push some of the oxygen through the body. So always stay hydrated when you're going up to altitude, when you're going to hot conditions, when you're going to cold conditions. And the second thing about living the conditions, I'm out here 3 weeks ahead of the race, which is fantastic, and it's lucky, and it's something that doesn't usually happen. When I'm out here, it's just about leaving the air conditioner off, driving the car with the windows down, being outside as much as you can. It's a tough life, but it means hanging out at the beach, lathering up with sun lotion, and just sitting outside and getting used to the heat. Teaching your body how to sweat differently, teaching your body how to cool itself, teaching your body to get used to this new hot conditions. If you're at home though, and you can only go out to the race a couple days before, you still live the conditions as much as you can. What this means is that when you're at home and you're training and it's mid-70s and you're going to a race that's mid-90s, layer up a little bit. Try to live the conditions as much as you can. Over the past couple months, sorry to my girlfriend Robin, but we've lived without the air conditioner on. I've tried to get used to the heat as much as possible. It makes for some uncomfortable nights, but it makes for a much more comfortable race. So when I'm out there training in New York City in the 70-degree weather, as we're getting into the fall now, it might mean that I throw on some arm warmers when I go out for a ride, or I throw on a long sleeve shirt when I go out for a run. I just try to get used to that heat. I teach my body to sweat a little bit differently. I teach my body to cool itself down a little bit better. I find it's much easier to acclimate on a short timeline when I get out to a race. The third thing about trusting your numbers. One of the things that's really hard, especially being here in Hawaii at the World Championships, I've watched this race on TV, I've seen these great athletes out here racing. It's really hard to go out on the Queen K Highway or Ali'i Drive or climbing up Palani and keeping my numbers low. I've been out for a few workouts in the last 2 days that I've been here. I got here about 48 hours ago. And one of the things is, if I'm not careful, I go out for a run and suddenly see I'm running 6-minute miles for absolutely no good reason. My heart rate's off the charts, my power's off the charts, and it's just because I'm getting excited and caught up in the moment. What you need to do is you need to be okay with the fact that your numbers are going to be low. You're changing temperatures, you're changing climates, you're coming to a really exciting place like this. You need to trust your numbers. If you've been training off heart rate, stick to your heart rate for those first few days that you're there. Let your body get adjusted. If you've been training off power, stick to your power numbers. Stick to those numbers that you know are steady numbers that you can trust, and just trust those numbers. The better you trust your numbers, the more you trust your numbers, the faster you're going to get acclimated, the better you're going to be able to perform on race day. Now this is a scary thought, because it might mean that you're coming from home where you were running 7-minute mile at your aerobic heart rate or at your aerobic power numbers or your normal race power numbers, and now you're doing a 7:30 or an 8-minute mile. And that's a scary thought, but what you have to understand is that if you don't trust those numbers, all you're going to do is hurt yourself and get yourself into trouble. So trust those numbers when you get to a new situation. Hydrate, trust the numbers, and live the conditions as much as you can, and you're going to acclimate much quicker. So thanks for checking out the blog. Hopefully you can still see me out here now that it is, it's getting on 7 o'clock. It's about 10 of 7. When the sun goes down here on the island, it goes down in a hurry. So, but yeah, thank you for checking out the blog, and write to me, greg@tryby3.com, TRIBY, the number 3.com. I'm going to be out here for the next 3 weeks getting ready for the race. I'm going to have my video camera with me, and I'd love to have you write in with any suggestions you might have. If you couldn't tell, I am brand new to video blogging, so I'd love any advice you had, any helpful suggestions, but I'd also love if you just wrote in and let me know what you're interested in seeing. If you want to see or hear or learn something about the island, or about the race itself, the Ironman World Championships, or about racing, triathlon, Ironman in general, endurance events. Love to be able to post something every day, every other day, just answering some of the questions people back at home have. So thanks for checking out the blog, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I've got about a 60-mile bike ride tomorrow up at Hapuna Beach, the white sand beach. It's about 40 miles north and a little bit west of where I am right now. So I'm going to be doing 60 miles on the bike, and then jumping off the bike and running about 10 miles off. I'm getting towards the end of my long workouts here, and then the taper starts, which just means that I get to hang out at the beach and yeah, try not to get fat over these last 2 weeks. So tomorrow will be about 4 hours, 4.5 hours total. I'm going up to Hapuna because it's hot up there. It's where the winds really start to kick up a lot. It's where it really starts to get tough. It's the last little stretch on the way up to Hawi, the turnaround on the bike course. So I'll be taking the camera with me. I'll be getting some shots of beautiful Hapuna Beach and hopefully showing you what it's like out on the bike course a little bit. So write to me, greg@tryby3.com. Let me know your questions, suggestions, anything, and keep checking out tryby3.com. Thanks.